Hi, Startup Vision. I'm Julien Oudart. I am a tech entrepreneur. I live in Los Angeles, and I am the author of the book, The 20 Jobs in Digital.
Hello, Julien. Thank you so much for being with us on Startup Vision TV. So you wrote this book to fill in a void. Everybody talks about tech, but do we really know what it really means in terms of job definition and what it takes to get there? Tell us more about the why of this book.
Hi, Florence. First, thank you for having me on Startup Vision. So we had that idea of the book a good 2 years ago. I wrote this book with Clément from Clément Vérité, New York Times in Paris. And we thought it'd be great to have gathered all in one book some more inside information about what it is to be, a community manager, a data analyst, a product owner. So we started to work on that book. The other thing is we wanted to give a global perspective on the book. We wanted to see, if it's very much different to be a community manager in New York, in Tokyo, in France, in Italy. So because we both worked in a number of countries before, we thought it'd be, relatively easy to activate our network and collect those testimonials. Of course, we were all wrong. It wasn't that easy. It took us 18 months to chase everybody, collect the interviews. It is people always interested, but they forget to answer, and so you need to chase all those people. It was an interesting exercise. So I think in the end we kept around 60 good quality interviews in the book. But we probably spoke to between, 300, 400 people to have all these interviews. So it took us time, but it was a great exercise.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. I can see that. So you did this with prominent personalities who are specialists in their fields on a global scale. You said so. To take into consideration the cultural differences, as you mentioned, can you give us some examples of people, I mean, prominent people who spoke with you?
Yes. Before I do that, I think there's another thing where we were wrong is that with this book, we thought we would try to again demonstrate whether it's different to be a data analyst in the US, in Asia, in Europe. We tried to do that. It's difficult to show and demonstrate in a three-question interview when you interview someone. And in the end, so for every single job, we draw like a job description, and then we have 3 interviews from 3 different people in 2 different locations, 2 different countries. What we found out is that it's to be a community manager, a data analyst, customer success manager. Anywhere you work, it's very much similar profiles. So people between 25, 35 that have been to like very similar university and do similar jobs on a day-to-day basis. So that was an interesting takeaway. And what we thought as well with this is that it's probably the first generation, maybe with mine also before, that have the opportunity to go travel and work anywhere. When you're a good Java developer, you have a good basis of English at least. If you work in Italy, you can go and work in Australia because so many startups are looking for good Java developers. So that was an interesting thing. So that was for the cultural aspect of the book. And beyond that, as you said, we also wanted to have some analysis from senior profiles from the industry. So we have like 3-4 people who have kindly accepted to develop an analysis. So we have Sophie Viger from Ecole 42, School 42 in Paris, who develops a vision about women and technology, which is very interesting and a very hot topic of the day. We have Carolina Milanesi. She's a very well-respected analyst from the Silicon Valley, and she explains a vision about education and technology. And we also have David Honig, who is a Boston-based recruiter in digital marketing that explains what you should do today to get the best job in digital marketing. So the book is a mix of interviews from people in the jobs and also analysis from more senior people.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to tell you. The thing that is really interesting in that book is that you define the jobs in a very simple manner. We understand exactly what it is, but also you let the specialists talk, the one who are in the job. So you're interviewing real people who exercise that function and who define that function. And you get the sense of what the work is. It's a day-to-day position and what they really do. So it's a real plus, really. So can you speak about the different people, different companies you interviewed?
Yeah. we met a lot of different people. That was very interesting. In terms of backgrounds, we've met people, when you're a developer, you think you go to an engineering school. When you're a sales manager, you think you go to a business school. But we met all kind of people in all kind of positions with all kind of backgrounds. I'm just thinking about this lady who is like a very senior project manager now. She's starting as a secretary, and she's just kept training herself throughout the years to become a project manager and kind of realize and achieve a dream job. So that was very interesting. But the initial objective was indeed to let them speak. We wanted to understand what they do on a day-to-day basis, what tools they need to master to become we have 20 jobs in the matrix that we define, but what tools you need to master to become a sales manager, an acquisition manager, what skills it requires, both hard and soft as well. We can see with what they're saying that soft skills are taking more and more space in the recruitment business when you want to get a job. So when you're a developer, it's not only about knowing about Java, of course, which is a requirement, but it's also about, being good with a team, have interpersonal skills, like very much all the soft skills that you're always required to have. So that was very interesting. We listed at the end of the book the list of all the tools that everybody mentioned. So we have like 60 or 70 tools that people use on a day-to-day basis that people that will buy the book will have access to if they're interested in. So that's all this granular information we try to collect. We just listen to what they had to say, and I think we try to make it a premiere because we haven't seen that anywhere in any book before.
Yeah, and those people come from big companies, like Google, Salesforce, whatever. So that's very interesting. So, what are the positions young people dream of, and what are the most demanded positions on the job market, which sometimes is different? And where can they study? What is the roadmap? Sometimes, it's kind of difficult to find out. Can you explain?
Yes. That's an interesting one as well. Sorry. I'd say there are two categories of jobs in the book. You get categories of like what you would call more traditional jobs, sales manager, project manager, SEO manager, and more like newer jobs that didn't exist 5 years ago. But even traditional job, if it'd be interesting. For example, SEO manager, you think it's been here for 15 years. Mostly their job is to make sure that the brand appears well on Google. But with all the different platforms that exist now, being an SEO manager can be very fragmented. You can be specialist for Amazon and e-commerce. You can be a specialist for video content with the YouTube search engine. Tomorrow, brands will be required to be found on TikTok, and there will be a search engine on TikTok. So this job keeps evolving all the time. People have to learn new things all the time. So that's very interesting. And then on the other end, indeed, you get more recent jobs. So, I'm talking about sales development representative, what we call SDR, customer success manager, data analyst, community manager, product owner in SaaS, software startups. So we went after those jobs. We went interviewing those people. And these are, the jobs where I think startups struggle the most to recruit at the moment. So if I just, if someone asks me, a young guy asks me where I should, what job I should look at, maybe those kind of jobs. And of course, there is, for more business jobs, of course, most people go to business school, and tech jobs mostly to engineering school. But what I also see, there are more and more like bridges between the two. So today you can go to a good engineering school and end up in a marketing team doing data analyst job or data scientist. You can be out of a business school, start with a sales job, and if you're a bit geek, you can train yourself on tools and end up in a very tech startup. So, and even later in your career, you can always, it's not rare to see someone starting at the developer becoming product owner. So that's very interesting.
So what are the trends for tomorrow? What will the sectors or the skills needed in the near future?
I'm not a guru. I don't have a crystal ball, but I will try to.
We need to.
We have a conclusion in the book with 4 or 5 things, and those things are: the first thing is, we're fortunate enough to work in that sector because even with the COVID-19, most of the company and startups have raised funds during this period and keep hiring and looking for the right talented people. So that's a chance. Second thing is that everything changes so fast that people keep learning all the time. They need to keep learning all the time, train themselves on new tools, new strategy, new trends, new algorithm platforms. It changes all the time. So it's both tough because you need to be, on the spot all the time, but it also gives lots of different opportunities to people that are willing to get one of those jobs. So it's interesting. The thing we were very surprised about is that people do love their job. We thought, we'd be interviewing people and some people would be complaining about what they do, but like 95% of them love what they do. Yet they're very aware of, the limitation and sometimes it's tough, but they're really positive about the future and what they do. That was interesting. And two more things we saw, and that wouldn't come as a surprise to you, I'm sure, it's the impact of artificial intelligence. So whether you're a sales recruiter, to find the right prospect and your future clients through a machine, through a platform, whether you're a sales guy, so a recruiter, we've seen a number of jobs that are impacted through this, and like day-to-day tasks they were doing before is slightly taken over by the machine, so they can concentrate on more strategic things during the day. And the last thing we saw as well is there are more and more people wanting to do these jobs as a freelance and remotely. And it goes without saying that with COVID-19, this is going to accelerate, of course. But today, you get graphic designers, community managers are a lot freelancers, but this is also coming for project managers, product owners, sales people. So they want to work more and more from their home, being independent, manage their own agenda. And so that's a strong trend that we saw when we talked to those people.
It's very interesting, really. Thank you so much, Julien, for sharing all that. And your book is very, very interesting, very clear. So thank you for being here with us on Startup Vision TV
Thank
today.
you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.